Good morning,
How
Adeline.
are you? So we're here today to talk about alternative real estate asset classes. So obviously Arada has been around for some time, and you started the projects in 2019. And any thoughts on alternative real estate investments that you're doing in terms of what people may say as to co-living, student accommodation, senior living, workers' dorms? What is Arada doing?
Absolutely. So there's no shortage of prime real estate, branded residences, luxury establishments in the UAE, but the student asset class, the student housing asset class is relatively new to the region. And I think it's a very smart idea that Arada pursued 3.5 years ago in going in that market. So I want you to imagine a place called Al Jada in the UAE, which is just on the periphery of Dubai and Sharjah. And I've been in the country for 25 years and actually had not heard of it. And then when I went to see it, I realized, wow, this is a stroke of brilliance. You're surrounded by 25 universities and a huge catchment area. And it's a very interesting asset class because we preach and practice lodging and accommodation, and the fundamentals are exactly the same for student accommodation. I mean, home is a very sacred place, and when the children leave the home, they want to be in a safe and secure environment, and you need to, in today's day and age, provide all the amenities and all the facilities to cater to their needs. So Arada established Nest, which is 12 buildings in Al Jada, a few minutes away from the Sharjah International Airport, and surrounded by all the key universities such as the University of Sharjah, American University, Higher College of Technologies, T3 Aviation Academy, to name a few. And what we did is we encouraged student living in a very premium offering. There's gender segregation, so we have male accommodation, female accommodation, there's safety, and there's lifestyle at your doorstep. So the product was launched in 2019, was sold very, very quickly, finished in 2022, and started trading in 2023. I'm very proud to say that we are in the high 60% occupancy only after 1 year of operation. So the project has been very well received.
So I visited Al Jada yesterday. It was an amazing visit. We saw food trucks, we saw a lot of innovations as well as in its products and services. So, since starting this project about 5 years ago, what has evolved, and how has your strategy changed for the company?
Absolutely. So Arada's ethos is connected life. So it's not just about the brick and mortar, it's everything that goes around it. Arada has now established a hospitality division, and so a lot of people that have worked in luxury hospitality have joined the team, and we're elevating the whole experience. So the strategy is really to create brand ambassadors for the future. Imagine you as a student staying in your first independent accommodation. You're going to be our future customer. You're going to buy real estate. You're going to embrace the brand. And we're creating the leaders of the future by serving our communities. So that is the value proposition that we're trying to establish. It's still a very new asset class. I mean, in mature markets like in the UK, in Europe, you will find a lot of student housing, and it's well received and well positioned. But in the Emirate of Sharjah, which is considered to be the capital of education in the Middle East, it's still relatively new. The dorms that are in the universities are really aged, and they are not in good, they're not to the level. And the younger traveler is very discerning. They're expecting all the amenities. So we have co-working spaces, we have a library, we have a music room, and we do a lot of programming to entertain our students. So we have chess competitions, we've got a running track. So what you witnessed yesterday, the food trucks and the whole lifestyle of Al Jada is very, very suitable to that audience. And at the same time, it's safe and secure. So Nest won an award for having the most secure camera coverage in the Emirate of Sharjah. And we've got more than 850 cameras, 0 blind spots. So the parents know the children are very well looked after. We build relationships with our students. We nurture relationships with the universities. We're serving our community. At the same time, we're grooming the leaders for the future.
So it seems like it's very similar to what Life, is doing with our experience-led social living.
Absolutely.
But you're doing this at the student, purpose-built student accommodation level, right?
Correct.
So how are you looking to perhaps adapt these offerings as, you mentioned you're looking to move this into other markets and, what holds for other investors?
So twofold. One thing is we're diversifying the mix. So originally we were really focused on students that were going to universities. Most recently we signed an agreement with T3 Aviation Academy. For those of you who don't know the Emirate of Sharjah, the airport is just 5 minutes away from Al Jada, and these are pilots in the making. So they're first officers and pilots that are learning to fly. And when they move, they have to do a number of lessons before they become a pilot. So they are in the student category. And we have several cadets now staying with us. So it's not just students, it's young professionals as well that we're catering to. So that's one line of expansion where we're diversifying the mix. But at the same time, we're also piloting a nest for other destinations. Riyadh would be an obvious choice. And I know there's a number of developers here in the audience. I mean, if you're looking to diversify your portfolios and go into an asset class that is based on hospitality but speaks to a wider audience, I think I can highly recommend student accommodation. It is very resilient. So whenever there's a crisis or the peaks and troughs that you see in luxury travel, you tend to get hit very hard when there's a recession. But student accommodation is very, very stable. It's all year round. They are there. They are long-term guests. They're going to stay. The revenues are very stable. So it's really recession-proof, I'd like to call it. And to diversify your portfolio and have an asset class in the student housing segment would really be a win for your business model. In addition to that, you're creating brand ambassadors, as I said earlier, you're serving your communities. So we're open to look at opportunities outside of the UAE. Nest Al Jada in the 1 year, what it's done is really remarkable. And this model can also work in other markets. Clearly, as Arada expands outside of the UAE into international markets, Nest will go where Arada goes. So we're very confident about the outlook, and we're very excited about what lays ahead.
Good. So you mentioned, you've had to, you and your team have had to pivot, right, and look at reimagining some of the spaces or based on consumer preferences and also the way that they've taken up the spaces. So, could life, experience that social living be something that you would consider?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot in common. Our brands have sit in a similar space. And the students, as I said, are very, very discerning. They want a lifestyle. They want a shuttle that takes them to the university, picks them up. The laundry machines need to be there. Safety and security is paramount, a meal plan, and the whole lifestyle. So when you come to Al Jada, everything is walking distance. We have about 50 restaurants on the boulevard. We have fresh vegetables and fruits that we buy from the farms in Sharjah, and these are available to the students. So the parents are happy that the students are being looked after, and the students enjoy a very healthy and safe environment to focus on their studies. So absolutely, similar to your proposition, I think we have a lot in common there. And now that you've visited Al Jada, you would appreciate that it would be a perfect fit.
I mean, strategic partnerships, right?
I
think we're all about collaboration and partnerships.
Absolutely.
So on the sustainability front, yesterday we saw a lot of natural trees. You mentioned that there's a nursery that Al Jada has. You want to talk about a bit about that, I think, especially in today's...
Absolutely. So in Arada, we have a fourth P as well. I mean, the 3 Ps that everyone talks about is patrons, people, and profit. Our fourth P is planet. So we really focus on sustainability. It's ingrained in our DNA. For example, in Al Jada, we have a nursery with 130,000 trees. And every single community we build, we transfer the trees from our own nursery. When you visit Al Jada, you'll be able to take a tour to Shajar, our nursery, and plant your own tree. We also launched a new development in the Emirate of Sharjah called Masar, which is the green spine of Sharjah, where we have 70,000 indigenous trees planted, and the temperature there is a couple of degrees cooler. We're also investing with students, you have to really re-emphasize the sustainability piece. So there's a big campaign going on right now to educate them on saving energy, saving water, turning off the ACs when they leave the rooms, not leaving the windows open, saving on recycling, segregating garbage. So we're also educating and grooming these students whilst we look after our utility bills. And the campaign has been very, very successful. We've installed heat detectors and sensors in the rooms so the lights switch off when they leave. So it's part of our DNA to give back to the planet.
I think one thing that, if I may share about what we've done also, it's in experience-led social living, a lot of what people know as co-living, right? I think this is a concept that's been taking up in GCC quite rapidly. And something we've noticed is, our guests or a lot of people that need alternative accommodations, they're starting to attune to the concept of being outside of their usual comfort zone. They want to be surprised by what they meet. They also want to be introduced to or work from anywhere, similar to students.
Exactly.
And that's why you have a lot of communal spaces. You have them on I understand your plans. You have short stay, medium stay and long stay as well.
Correct.
And you often offer different sort of add-ons to what they can purchase, similar to what we do.
Precisely.
So what have you, what are some of the challenges that you see potentially that could happen in this space?
I mean, seasonality is one thing because the student term is 9 months, but then we do summer camps. We bring in sports groups when they have interactive tournaments between the universities. But we are offering that upgrade. We give them a laundry package. We give them Yalla bikes, which is our e-mobility solution inside of Arada. So we're really catering to them as a one-stop shop. We are their extended family. And I think this model can only be scaled very, very quickly to other businesses, and I think it's a success story in a very short time. To answer your question about the future of it, I think these students will eventually run businesses one day, and once you're attached where you stay, your first student housing. I didn't have that when I was a student. I would have loved to live in Nest, and so we're very blessed to have this for the future. And the demographics are also very, very diverse. UAE welcomes more than 200 nationalities. In Nest Al-Jada, we have more than 60 nationalities staying with us from all over the Gulf, North Africa, subcontinent. So it's a very diverse group, and we're giving them a platform to interact and grow and become future leaders.
So similar to us, live your freedom, right? Life stands for that. I think the opportunity, it's very similar where, once they graduate from school, and that's where, life comes into the next phase of life that they have. So it seems like, very interesting, and I hope, potentially we could work together.
Thank you so much, Adeline, for the opportunity, and hopefully this will open some new doors.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.